from some comments made from Bob Iger. If you guys aren't familiar with him, former Disney CEO, and was talking about how movie going won't return to pre-pandemic levels, which I thought was very shocking. You guys know about the AMC crowd, the AMC apes that continue to want to stick it to the shorts, even though the short interest on AMC and ape now aren't anywhere near what they used to be, and probably won't be for some time, if at all. But the underlying narrative of the AMC crowd and people who actually don't see value in this are of the same mindset. But it's interesting to hear that Bob Iger was also talking about this. He mentions that the pandemic fundamentally changed how audiences consume media, leading to smaller foot traffic at movie theaters, and quoted saying, "I don't think movies ever return in terms of movie going to the level that we saw at pre-pandemic." And he noted that consumers became more comfortable with streaming services while in lockdown and grew to enjoy the content on these platforms and the flexibility of being able to choose what to watch and when. Some really powerful things that were said there from Bob Iger, somebody who, really brought Disney to the forefront. Obviously, Disney has always been a household name and a place where everybody desires to go as a kid. But
adding Marvel,
yeah,
other things that happened, just totally made it a crazy conglomerate.
Yeah, and for him to come out and say, "Hey, things aren't going back to the way they used to be. We gotta figure something out," and brings streaming into it, I thought was very interesting. And so, do any of you agree with Bob Iger? Why or why not?
Yes,
I do.
I 100% agree with Bob Iger.
Yep.
And the reason why is it makes sense. If you charge me $7.99, $8.99 a month, and you're releasing movies fairly quickly to the streaming service or directly to the streaming service, that's a hell of a lot easier than that $100 it's going to cost me to go to the movie with dinner, right? How many do I get by doing streaming versus that? I get a whole lot more. So for me, it makes complete sense, especially with the technology in homes now, right? Your home can feel like the movie theater very easily, and most homes, have that, right?
Yep. And as a parent, both Greg and I have very young children. It saves a lot of the hassle involved. Although we grew up with theaters, and I remember even my own grandma, when theaters came out, "Oh, that's a shady place. It's like going to a strip club, that shady things happen in there." But it became
maybe in Latin America,
in the back row.
I appeared in this planet. Something happened in the theater, I think. So we can see how society is transitioning, and especially with COVID as a watershed moment, to now we can have the same things we enjoyed as children in a public space. We can do it at home, controlling costs and everything else that's tied with it. So it's inevitable. We are headed in that direction.
So something that around here in this area, has picked up during this is the drive-in theaters, right? Especially during COVID, starting having events, streaming concerts, things like that at the drive-in. I see them getting more traction than the actual physical theaters in this area right now, because it's more of a family-friendly, that historical 2-show lineup, double matinee, where the kids shows first, kids fall asleep in the bed of the truck, and now you're watching the more adult themed movie, right? That stuff works really well too.
Yeah, bringing retro back. That's what everything's doing. Fashion's going back to the 80s. But I agree with Bob on this. But I think this is the movie industry's blockbuster movie rental moment right here, right? Because like Greg alluded to it used to be with the movies that the reason you go is because of the huge screen and the amazing sound system, right? That wasn't easily replicated at home. I can watch a movie at home, but not like that. So you go to the movies, right? And Greg talked about how technology in our own living rooms right now has basically delivered the same thing in an even more comfortable environment in our homes. Well, this is, I think, the next iteration of that. I don't think movies will automatically return to pre-pandemic levels, but where they need to go most likely, and we alluded to this at the beginning of the show, is AI, right? You're going to have to go virtual. You're going to have to give me something other than a big screen and awesome sound, that and more. I need to feel like I am there, right? I don't know if movie theaters become the first one to do smell-o-vision or something else that you just cannot get at home.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The audio's been weird today. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's all right. So I don't know whose end it's actually on, but just to piggyback on what a lot of you guys have been saying and what Champ had also said, I can't disagree with this. The other thing that I wanted to add was you have so many people now making their own home theaters and making it an actual like event that happens at home. I think that, to what Greg was saying about drive-ins, I think that that's what the movies are going to be. It's going to be more of like a nostalgic type thing that you go out to once in a while. Now, you can make some arguments. You know, Top Gun, the Top Gun that came out over the summer was an absolute smash and set all kinds of records. But I don't think that that's going to be the norm. I think that's more of an outlier. And you look at how Disney Plus has now taken over Netflix. Not just Disney Plus by itself, but when you combine Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus under that umbrella, they now have more subscribers than Netflix. And so it makes sense for somebody like Bob Iger to come out and say, hey, like streaming's the way to go, because they saw it happen in 2 years. What it took Netflix to grow in 10, Disney took over in 2. That is just an absolute mind-blowing, series of events that took place. Obviously, COVID certainly enhanced that, but this writing was on the wall when Disney Plus first came out. I actually made mention of this, and I put out a video about how I thought that Disney was going to be the one that crushes Netflix, and now it's actually coming to fruition. It's just pretty wild to see, and sorry for all the AMC apes out there, but I think that the days are numbered for that company as well.